Okay, January 18th, we also talked about school fees. I will skip over that to our January 30th meeting, which is, all of it is 1.1 from January 30th meeting. Our 277407 school fees amendments. Appreciate Member Lear coming with some amendments that we were able to work on that day. The motion from the board, and before I read that, Chair, I'm just going to take chair prerogative, if that would be okay.
Yes.
To first of all, thank the task force and the committee for meeting additional times to get this rule ready to come out, and hopefully we can get the rule out to the public, and then we have a year to continue updates and changes before it takes full effect with any ramifications to districts, so that there will be changes. And sidebar, we are keeping a running FAQ of questions that come into us from anywhere, from anyone, so that we can incorporate those throughout the next year. So the committee action, the committee voted unanimously to approve our 277407 draft 5 with the amendments on first reading. So the motion to the board is, the committee moves that the board approve our 277407 draft 6 on second and final reading.
Okay. The board moves, was I hearing an applause or something? I thought I heard something. Maybe that was my
There
hearing.
will
Maybe
be
it's back
singing
there.
from the heavens.
Okay. The motion before the board is that the board approve R277-407, draft 6 on second and final reading. Discussion to the motion, board member Scott Hansen.
I'm sorry, my discussion is back to 12.11, so when we finish this, I'd just like to have a moment to be heard.
Okay. Oh, we
Okay.
didn't have any action. Okay.
Okay, we can jump back to that. No, we will go back to it. Board member Davis.
This morning, it was concerning to me. Yeah, oh, sorry. I was just trying to find the spot I read at 2 o'clock this morning that was about my question. I think it's line 171 through 175 that's crossed out. And I know you've had a big task force and this is kind of done, but my question is, two questions. And maybe this doesn't speak to the motion, but is there legislation out now that reflects this, or are we trying to do this to avoid legislation? So, and what I've heard from task force members is that we're trying to do the minimum to make sure that the permanent injunction is met. Is that true? So there's not code that makes it big? And then another question is lines 171 through 175. We have, for example, a summer opportunity for our elementary school students, which is at a cabin in a camp. It really has nothing to do with the regular school day, and parents pay a fee. So this is my question. Is that going to be subject, because this is crossed out in 177 to 175?
Angie, you want to come
That's
up?
a done
But
deal.
I will answer the first question, Cindy, if that's okay, Chair.
Feel free.
The first question is, I forgot what your first question is.
Are we looking for companion legislation to this?
No, we already
or
have companion legislation. We
That's
talked
the
about this
permanent
morning.
injunction and all
No,
that?
everything is incorporated from the task force that's been in play for months, and from the school, the finance committee, and others like Carol, who have brought different amendments, and the JLC that's brought questions, and they, anyway, the hours spent on this
They're huge, I know.
incorporates the audits, and also it incorporates the injunction, and it also, we're working with Representative Lisenby, who was on the task force, and we're matched with her, and she
Okay.
actually has been
That's what I
so
wanted to
gracious to
remember.
match us.
Okay, thank you.
She's been gracious.
So it was really important that it came out today and then it'll head towards public comment and a few other things. So there's still evolution that will take place with this.
Would you like me to
Rule.
answer the second?
Okay.
Yeah.
Angie.
Okay, Chair, thank you. And I was going to pull up the draft so you could look at it, but if you go to lines 239 through 53, the language that was struck there is actually in this section 4, school activities outside of the regular school day. So we had repeated it, so we struck it from lines 171-ish and rely on it here. But to answer your question, even though something is outside of the school day, you may still be required to waive fees for it. So you can charge fees, but you may be required to waive the fee depending on if it's a school activity or if you've somehow separated it substantially enough.
May or shall? 'Cause it's not a
shall.
school. It's not a school activity, but our district runs the facility and it's an optional
Well,
summer
then
camp.
that's different then.
There's no such thing
So
as
that's
She's
optional.
saying that's different.
Well, so there were two things that came up there. If it's a school activity.
No.
Okay, but then.
School brand.
But I'm trying to get to the may or
Okay.
shall. If it's a school activity and the student qualifies for waiver, you shall waive the fee. But if it's not a school activity, then the district would not, it's not a school activity, so you're not required, you're not collecting the
Even
fees.
though the
and you're-
facility's owned by
Yeah,
the district
facilities, you,
and it's a summer camp.
You can't have a teacher.
No,
There's-
it's just
Are
based
you
on
rent- are
employees
you
they
renting
hire.
it?
It's not, has anything to do with school. The district.
Hang
It's
on.
district employees.
Okay, let's
it's a
have one
school
answer.
activity.
Hey, real quick. Thanks.
Totally.
Okay, Angie, will you
So-
speak to this?
yes, I'd be happy to.
We have one speaker.
I cannot say yes or no to your question right now because I'd need to know more facts, and you would want to work with your own district attorney. The more things that point to it looking like a school activity, the employees, if they're being compensated by the district for their time to do it, it's hard to, the location, the more you get that it looks like a school activity, it probably is a school activity. But if you can separate it, if it's the teacher's not receiving any compensation, it's not advertised as a school activity, it just happened, the teacher is paying rental fees or something to be on the premises. Do you see where those facts might lend toward it not being a school activity? But we can't necessarily give you the yes or no unless we know all of the facts.
It's an independent registration, but okay.
Board Member Lear.
I think that Cindy makes an example that I think will come up a lot, and the point will be, I hope, and I appreciate Angie's hesitance to be too absolute, but the questions will come up in the same kinds of questions that she asked, and then the opportunity will be for the district to say, well, we could pay, we could have our renters or our users or lessors pay a little bit for the building. We can separate we can collect the fees outside of the school program. So you can modify your programs
right.
in sometimes minimal ways to make it non-fee waivable if that's your desire, if that's the district's desire.
Okay,
Thank you.
I want to restate the motion that was before the board, that the board approve R277-407, draft 6 on second and final reading. Okay, not seeing any objections, so we're going to vote on this. The motion is to approve R277-407, draft 6 on second and final reading. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, and I know we're not done.
Board Member Scott Hansen had a question that
Thank
on a
you.
previous page,
I-
Chair Belknap.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. go for it.
Yes, please, on 1211, I would like to know who made the request, and I would like to know why this landed in the Finance Committee.
May I answer that?
Yes, please. Let me turn this back on.
Sorry, I turned it off. I'm sorry, I actually made the request, and yes, it came, but we're just going to gather information how it's done in other states. That's all we're gathering for now, to see really how audit is done in other states at a board level. So,
Okay.
so it may end up still
Okay.
in law and licensing before a rule is made.
Okay, Board Member Ellis?
I don't remember why it ended up in Finance Committee.
I think we were crowded
I
everywhere
think we were
else.
crowded when we were setting the executive. But the reason why I suggested is it seems a little redundant. Right now, the chair and the vice chair or leadership pick what committees everyone's on, and then it states in our bylaws that leadership must be in audit committee. Well, they choose who's in what committee, and so it seems redundant to have it in the bylaws. So should a chair choose, we could put one member of leadership instead of all. a couple years ago, we had 4 members of leadership. Well, we changed that last year, but yeah, we did, because it used to say all, that's why we had all of us. Right,
least
so we
2.
changed it to one. I still think that we don't necessarily need it to say it at all, because they could choose to put themselves there or not.
Yeah, thanks. I understand the intent of what's going on. I just didn't know how that fits
I
with
think
Finance
it
Committee.
does.
And
Oh, they don't always fit where they're supposed to go. It's going to come back to you. The law license.
Okay, we're moving this. Board Member Hanson.
Can I just make a comment about that,
Okay,
just for the new board members, and maybe so that leadership knows how I feel about it too? It seems like to me that we become experts in certain areas by working in those areas. And so that's why I believe that if something's financial, it should go to Finance Committee. If something's a standard, it should go to Standards Committee, and try not to deviate from that too much, because when you get into things that you're not used to, then it gets really complicated and takes a long time. So that's just my feeling.
we try to do that. Board Member Bell?
Maria, I just want to comment to that, and I apologize. I mean, I know we're not late. But Linda, as watching that in executive, 99% of the time it goes where it's supposed to, unless law and licensing has something this long and we can take something off the plate. So that's really where that landed. And that's why.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for me again?
Yeah, you have so many papers. Where are you?
No, I'm done with finance. I'm on to the next topic.
Okay, now we're going to, hey, there is, can you guys smell that aroma? Okay, do you guys just want to grab a plate, come back in, and then we're going to go to graduation, high school graduation. Task
Okay.
force report.
I'm going to give a graduation task force update. I am happy to do
People are walking to go grab their pizza.
We have pizza?
Excuse everybody.
Oh, no.
He said just for a few minutes, go